Hey there, I'm Liza, and I'm here to share a story about breaking free from old patterns and escaping the grip of a toxic relationship with my ex husband, Jackson. This journey has been a roller coaster of ups and downs, but it ultimately led to self discovery. I'm sharing my story for all the women, and even men, dealing with similar situations, hoping to inspire them to take a stand against what is wrong. Let me begin by telling you about Jackson, the man I once thought was my everything. We met in college, and he had that classic bad boy vibe that made me starry eyed. Little did I know that beneath that magnetic exterior was a world of chaos. After graduation, he proposed, and I said yes. If I could go back in time, that's the moment I would change. Neither of us had a real job, and we were barely scraping by with low paying gigs that could hardly cover rent for our tiny apartment. Back then, it felt like an adventure, but looking back, it was a big red flag. Jackson always claimed he loved me more than life itself, showering me with affection. But as time passed, I realized it wasn't love, not the healthy kind anyway. It was an obsession. He was insanely jealous and overbearingly possessive, qualities I initially mistook for protectiveness. Jackson had a knack for turning innocent situations into full-blown dramas. I lost count of the times he got jealous over people simply smiling at me. He even got mad at my cousins for being close to me. I convinced myself it was his way of showing love, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. Things escalated when he asked me to quit my job because he didn't like the guys I worked with. "Babe, I need to talk to you about something. I think you should quit your job." "What?" "Why, Jackson? Don't you trust me?" "It's not about trust, Liza. It's those guys you work with. I don't trust them. You can't just hide me away from the world, Jackson." "I wish I could, babe. I just worry about you. It's not a safe world we live in. You don't get it. With my degree, I can get a better job, which means a better life for us. You know I have a degree too from the same college. I'm a bit slow right now, but I promise one day I'll provide everything you deserve. It's not about what you can provide. I never doubted your ability. I need to work on my career too. Independence is crucial these days. I just can't stand the thought of any guys getting close to you. It's your call now. It's either me or the job. I would choose you in a heartbeat." I couldn't believe I had been such a fool to leave my job just because he asked me to. At first, it seemed like he cared so much, taking care of our finances and everything. But it didn't take long for me to realize he wasn't just overprotective. He was controlling. He didn't want me to go out with friends, even for innocent nights out. He claimed he was worried about my safety, but in reality, he was more concerned about losing control. Then, a new problem arose. Jackson started getting into gambling. At first, it was just occasional poker nights with his buddies, but it quickly escalated. Soon, he was spending our hard-earned money at casinos and betting on sports events. When I tried to talk to him about it, he brushed off my concerns, saying it was just a way to relax and have some fun. But it wasn't fun anymore. His obsession with gambling took a toll on our finances. Bills piled up, and we struggled to make ends meet. "Jackson, babe, we need to talk about your gambling. It's spiraling out of control and affecting both of us." "What are you talking about, sweetie? I can handle it. It's just a bit of fun." "Fun? Jackson, we're drowning in debt, and you've lost so much money lately. It's not fun anymore. It's an addiction." "I can't believe you're accusing me like this. I know what I'm doing." "Jackson, please, for me?" "Okay, maybe I'll try to cut down a bit. Just for you, love." One day, Jackson came home carrying something I could never have imagined in my wildest dreams, a stack of divorce papers. My heart sank as he handed them to me. Despite the challenges and struggles, I thought we were in this together. "Jackson, why? We've been through so much together. We can work through whatever this is." "Liza, I don't know. It just felt like the right thing to do. We're not living the dream life we thought we would. Even though I love you, I can't keep going like this. It's over for me. We promised each other we would stick together no matter what. I know we made those promises, but things have changed. This is happening. You cannot stop it. I'll see you in court." After the courtroom procedures, our 3-year marriage ended just like that. I couldn't find closure in the vague excuse he gave for ending our marriage. The thought of reaching out to him one more time to rekindle the old flame was tempting. I couldn't bring myself to give up just yet. I decided to make up a reason to talk to him, claiming he had left some belongings at our old apartment. It was a silly excuse, but I needed to hear his voice to understand what had gone wrong. I dialed his number. The phone rang and rang, but Jackson did not pick up. I felt a pang of disappointment, but didn't give up. I left him a heartfelt voicemail, pouring out my feelings and asking him to call me back. Hours turned into days, and there was still no response. A week later, after countless attempts to reach him, I received a message from my phone provider. You cannot send messages to this conversation. I assumed he had blocked me, making it clear that he had moved on. It was one of the biggest mysteries of my life. Jackson, the man I thought would be by my side forever, had disappeared without a trace. What had gone wrong? Why had he given up on our marriage? Why had he walked away without a proper explanation? It was then that I knew I had no choice but to move forward. With my parents' financial support, I picked up the pieces of my life and started on a journey to rebuild myself. It wasn't a walk in the park, but I was determined to bounce back. I realized that to boost my career prospects, I needed to upgrade my skills. So, I dove into self-improvement, determined to add some impressive new bullet points to my resume. After a lot of hard work and personal growth, I landed a gig as a junior brand consultant at a fancy arts and antiques company. This was a big deal for me and a clear sign that my efforts were paying off. Little did I know that this job would lead to even greater things. Within a year, my commitment and hustle caught the attention of my bosses, and I was promoted to the main brand consultant. Finally, I could start securing my financial future. But wait, there's more to my story. I also met someone who would become very important in my life. His name was Joshua, and he's now my husband. Our paths crossed at the grocery store when he bumped into me. Hey, I've seen you somewhere. Are you Jackson's wife? Yeah, that's me, his ex-wife. I remember now. I once did some business with Jackson and he got ridiculously hammered. You had to swoop in and save the day. Ah, that infamous night. It's a hilarious yet dark tale for sure. So, what happened between the two of you, if you don't mind me asking? I don't know myself. It's a long story. Well, can I have your number, and we can talk about it over coffee if you want? Sure, why not? Great, looking forward to hearing that story. After that casual coffee date with Joshua, we talked about the infamous night when Jackson was, well, Jackson. As I started sharing my side of the story, Joshua really listened. He wasn't just hearing me, he was genuinely listening. It felt liberating to have someone care enough to understand what I had been through. Joshua helped me see that Jackson was a textbook narcissist and that I had been stuck in a toxic and abusive situation for far too long. It was eye-opening. We kept meeting up, sometimes for a bite or just to hang out. Joshua treated me with respect, something I had almost forgotten. He patiently let me heal and grow, never pushing me to talk, but always being there when I needed to vent. Gradually, I started falling for him, not just because he had been a great listener when I needed to talk about my Jackson drama, but also because he was an amazing person, funny, kind, and down to earth. We had this connection that felt like it was meant to be. One day, as we were lounging in a park, he looked at me and said, "You deserve to be happy, Liza. You deserve someone who loves you for who you are." That's when it hit me. He was talking about himself too. After 2 blissful years of dating, Joshua finally got down on one knee and asked me to marry him. You can imagine how over the moon happy I was. My parents were thrilled too, and it felt like the fresh start I had been waiting for. A man with stability, a fantastic personality, and a heart full of love. What more could a girl ask for? It was like the universe had aligned all my lucky stars in my favor. During those 2 years, everything was falling into place. I was excelling at work and living the dream life I had always imagined. Out of the blue, when I was riding high on this cloud of happiness, something came along to shake things up. It was one of those moments when you realize that life is not a straight line. The day after my wedding, on my first day back at work as Mrs. Liza Baker, I noticed a cake on my desk. My first thought was that it was probably from one of my friends, a belated congratulations for the wedding or something. But as I opened the box, my heart sank. There, in big bold red letters, the cake spelled out CHETR. I quickly closed the box before anyone else could catch a glimpse of it. So there I was at my desk, wondering who had played such a sick prank on me, when my phone rang with an unknown number flashing on the screen. "Hey there, Jane. It's me, Jackson. I can't believe you're calling after all this time. Where have you been? This is unbelievable. Wait, did you send me the cake?" "Yeah, I did. Well, it's not a catch-up, to be honest. Consider it a loyalty test. I wanted to see if you would still pick up when I call you, for old time's sake." A loyalty test, I thought you would still be mine. and he just moved on. I was right after all. Look at you. I knew I couldn't trust you. You belong to the streets. Jackson, are you hearing yourself? You're the one who divorced me without any reason, and now you're calling me names when I moved on. Oh, I heard about your little wedding that happened yesterday, Liza. I hope I'm not disturbing you on your honeymoon. How on earth did you know? News travels fast, especially when your ex-wife is hooked up to your old business acquaintances. That doesn't give you the right to call me and complain. You made your decision, and I made mine. Liza, you've always been a bit helpless, haven't you? Huh, I bet you couldn't pay your own bills. That's why you clung to that poor Joshua. I must say he has grown a pair too. Can't we just move past this? Just check your messages. I just sent you a picture. I couldn't believe it. Jackson had sent me a picture of his laptop screen displaying his bank account balance, showing a total of $300,000. Where did all this money come from? Gambling, among other things. Turns out you were the one holding me back all along. You didn't stay loyal, did you? Remarried an old friend, eh? You always were a bit of a loser, and you weren't doing so well financially. I assume that's why you married Joshua, right? Some things never change. You will always be the same, Liza, forever struggling and needing help. Well, have fun staying poor. You know what, Jackson? I don't need this. Don't you ever try to contact me again. You are just history to me now. Bye. Be careful choosing your words, Liza. I slammed the phone down on Jackson. What was he even going on about? A loyalty test? It felt like he had been treating my life as some sort of joke for the past 3 years. It was becoming increasingly clear that he had always been a narcissist, but it had taken me this long to see it. Strangely, I didn't mention the encounter with Jackson to Joshua. We had just celebrated our wedding day, and I didn't want to spoil our happiness. After that creepy Jackson encounter, I started feeling unsafe, as if he might want to harm me. But I kept it to myself and eventually pushed it aside, hoping it would fade away. Then 6 months later, something totally nuts happened. One quiet Sunday night, Joshua and I were chilling at home, watching a movie. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, and I answered it cautiously. Guess who it was? A sloshed Jackson, smelling like a brewery. I was shocked and scared. Why was he here, and what was he up to? Joshua stepped in, all protective, but we were both baffled and uneasy. I need to talk to Jane. Jackson, you're drunk. Go away. We do not want you here. Not now, not ever. Please just let me. Jackson, please just go, buddy. She's not your wife anymore. I need to talk to her. Jackson, leave now, or I might have to call the cops. I admit that a part of me was worried about Jackson. His life had taken a nosedive, and it did stir up a tad bit of concern. But let's be real, it was not my problem anymore. After everything he had put me through, all I had for him was pure hatred. Once Jackson was gone, I decided to open up to Joshua about the phone call. It was a difficult conversation, but Joshua proved to be my rock. He had my back, no questions asked. He made me feel safe, assuring me there was nothing to fear. The next day, Joshua was at work, and I found myself alone at home. My phone rang, and it was Jackson calling again. What's the deal, Jackson? Why are you calling me now? Liza, I need to apologize for everything I put you through. An apology after all these years? What brought this on? I always believed no amount of therapy could ever fix you because you're so messed up. Liza, I'm in a tough spot. I need some financial help. I know you might not have much, but… Financial help? I knew this wasn't so innocent. Calling me poor, remember? You always thought I lacked potential and control over my life. That's why you tried to manipulate me. But you know what, Jackson? Check your messages. I hung up on Jackson, then sent him a picture of my bank balance, $600,000, double what he had in his account a while back. Jackson called me up again, this time crying. Liza, darling, I'm genuinely sorry for mistreating you and trying to control you. Where did you get all this money from? Stop crying in front of me, it's pathetic. Where I got my money is simple. I earned it. I'm a brand consultant now. Oh my God, Liza, can you please help me? I've lost everything to gambling. I can't afford a place to stay. I beg you, honey, this could be a game changer for me. Funny how the tables turn, isn't it? Look at you now, almost homeless with a gambling addiction and a narcissistic personality. No family, no friends, nothing. Meanwhile, here I am with a great job, a loving husband, and a happy home. Who's the problematic one now, you toxic piece of trash? Liza, please, I'm in real trouble here. I need help. No more chances, Jackson. How can you even think I would help you after all you did? This is it. One more call, and I'm taking serious action against you. Liza, please, just wait. We're done for good, Jackson. It's been a month since that call with Jackson, and it's safe to say he's been nowhere in sight. Back when I was with Jackson, I thought love was this intense, burning, red kind of thing. He had me convinced that it had to be all fiery and passionate. But you know what? Now, with Joshua, I've learned that love is not like that at all. Real love is more like a warm, steady, golden glow. It's not about drama or control. It's about support and lifting each other up. But I can't help but think about all the men and women out there going through similar situations, stuck in a toxic cycle with their exes. I want to tell them this: break free from that pattern. Your ex might make you feel worthless and convince you there is nothing better out there for you. But let me be clear, there is. You deserve all the happiness, love, and success in the world. Just like I found it, you can too. It's not easy and it takes time, but you're worth it. Do not let anyone drag you down or make you doubt yourself.